All right, now that you guys have all of your information about community service, except for questions you still have for me, we're going to get into some economic thinking. So to start, remember to go to page 7 and get your objective written in there. Today, you are going to learn how to make rational decisions using economic thinking, which means we use cost-benefit analysis, and so we're going to talk about what costs and benefits are to economists, and also opportunity cost. So I'll give you a second to write that down on page 7. All right. So today we are going to think about costs and benefits, or how to peel a banana. So economists, we already talked about, look at the choices we make, and they look at the true costs of those choices. In fact, if we want a formal definition of economics, it would be the following: the study of how people choose among alternatives to satisfy unlimited needs and wants with limited resources, or scarcity, right? These costs can apply to issues as simple as peeling a banana all the way up to the government bailout plan or the taxation plan or whatever. It can be really simple or really, really complex. And economists will often do this using a cost-benefit analysis chart. Now, I want you to write down the definition of cost and the definition of benefit. A cost is anything you give up as you make a decision. So you had a cost for getting out of bed this morning. You had a cost for coming to class. You had a cost for what you did over lunch today. All of these are costs of things you gave up. Whatever you could have done that you didn't do were the costs of that, or whatever negatives came along with your decision were costs of that decision. The benefits are anything that you gained as a decision was made. And we assume that when you make a decision, the benefit outweighed the cost of that decision, and therefore you decided to do it. So the benefit of coming to class is maybe that you learned economics, or maybe that you're learning how to make better decisions, or maybe it has to do with your grade, maybe it has to do with your family. The cost is what you gave up when you made that decision. Maybe you think economics is boring and you had to sit through it, although I know none of you would possibly ever think economics is boring because it's so interesting. It might be the piece of paper that you just had to use to write this information down on. Anything like that is going to be a cost. Now, I want you to make a chart, a cost-benefit analysis chart, like the one you see here on the screen. And I want you to make it just like that, but make it so that your squares that are empty are big enough to write in. So we're going to start out today thinking about the costs and benefits of 2 different ways to peel a banana. We can peel a banana from the stem side of the banana, the traditional way of peeling a banana for most humans, or we could peel a banana from the non-stem side, or what we often call the bottom, like the monkeys do. So make your chart, take about half a sheet of paper, and make, again, this chart in there, and I will give you just a minute to do that. All right. Now, why in the world would we be looking at the costs and benefits of peeling a banana? That seems incredibly silly, right? What we are going to do is actually inspired by some economics professors at the University of Rochester. Dr. Stephen Landsberg, who is actually one of my sister's economics professors, wrote this article, and he talks about how he and his colleagues were sitting at lunch having a conversation about the best way to peel a banana. So as you read in your groups, you are going to read through the article, and then you're going to go back to your chart and you're going to look for what are some of the arguments in the article about peeling from the stem side, and what are some of the arguments in the article about peeling from the non-stem side. And by the time you finish, you should have at least one thing in every box. So we're going to take a few minutes now and just read. Now it is your turn to conduct your own test. Yes, we have bananas. I want every group to get at least 2 bananas, and all students may have 1 banana. So if you have 4 people in your group, all of you can have a banana. But even if only one person wants to eat the bananas, still go ahead and grab 2 so that you can run your experiment. In your group, peel your bananas one at a time. And then I want you to use this information to add to the chart that you created. For things you find to be true from the article, put a check. For things you disagree with, put an X. Add any additional information you find in your experiment as well. Maybe you find some costs or some benefits that weren't discussed in the article. That's fine. Add that also. All right, now you are going to think like an economist to make a decision that actually is relevant to your life. So I want you to draw another chart thinking about what you will be doing directly after class finishes today. You're done with school for the day, and you're going to make another chart where you choose 2 things, 2 ways you could spend your time after school. So think about what you're maybe kind of planning on doing, or something else you could do. Maybe you have work right after school. So maybe your second choice could be, well, what if you called in sick to work? What would you do instead? You should not do that. But if you did, what would you do instead? So again, you're going to put your 2 choices on the left side, and then you're going to think about the benefits and the costs of each. So what would be the benefits of choice 1? The costs of choice 1. What would be the benefits of choice 2? The costs of choice 2. And think through that one. And this one will be individual, but you can bounce ideas off people in your group. And go ahead and pause the video right here while students have a few minutes to complete that chart. All right, now I want you to go ahead and think about which of these is the choice that you think you're going to make, and circle it. That's my choice. And then I want us to think about what you didn't choose. So the opportunity cost, I want you to draw an arrow to your non-choice and write opportunity cost next to it. Opportunity cost is the most important cost to an economist. Opportunity cost is the next best alternative to the one that was chosen. Or you could say that opportunity cost is the opportunity you lost. And this is the most important cost, again, for any decision that you make. Now, go ahead and flip over to page 28 in your vocab and go ahead and write opportunity cost in there. So opportunity cost is, again, the opportunity you lost, and it's the next best option you gave up. And it is the true cost to economists of any decision you make. All right. To finish this up, you're going to do one more thing. On your same sheet of paper, I want you to answer the following prompt. And your answer should be about a paragraph in length. So how can thinking through the costs and benefits of a decision help us make more rational decisions? And what is a decision you will use this process for in the next month? What's one way you could see using this? Once you are finished with this, be sure to turn it in, and then with your group, you're going to go back and do a little review and practice with the factors of production on pages 42 and 43. I know you guys are doing amazing today, and I look forward to seeing what you guys have to say about cost-benefit analysis.